in the sense that the minimum amount for that one is $25,000 and the maximum is $75,000. We have more money in the FERN budget than we do in the OHHRRN budget. So, but if you go onto the FERN website, you will notice that there is a lot of traffic, so a huge amount of traffic there. So if it's an issue, if it's an equity issue, a health equity issue, or you are proposing to look at or develop some infrastructure for a population health intervention, that's the area for those calls for proposals. So go to the FERN website, and it's www.rrasp-phirn.ca. So, but if you also Google FERN, PHIRN, it usually comes up.
Ivy, it's Dot speaking.
Yes.
Can you type that URL into the text chat feature?
Yes,
and people can grab it from there?
Yeah.
If they copy and paste it, they can grab it.
Okay.
Yeah, I found it.
Yeah, so I will put that here, and so that's another place. So, you know, depending on what you're doing. So, for example, if it's something that overlaps, so some questions I've been asked. So, if it's looking at what kind of health human resources we would need to focus on a program that's looking at equity issues, where do we go for that? Go either place, but you know, if you could link it more to the FERN one, you have a little bit more wherewithal in terms of the funds. Which one will be more competitive? I don't know, but like if you go on the FERN website, you will note that there's over 700 links, or not 700 links, but you know, there's been 700 clicks in terms of the traffic for that particular call for proposals, which makes me really, really nervous on that side. So there's a lot of interest. I mean, it makes me nervous, but it's also a really good thing for us to be able to present to the ministry that we have created a lot of buzz with this. And I mean, it's always true. If you build it, they will come. If you provide some funds, people will want to become members of your network. So that's our primary objective, is really building this network, getting people coordinated and together, and providing them some incentives for doing so.
Okay.
So I want to talk a little bit about membership,
Okay.
And what that would entail. And then also, if you do get funds, what we hope to get from you. So in being a member of the network, you can draw upon, you know, some resources in terms of us helping you create some linkages with the ministry. So even if you don't get funds from us, but you would like our help in trying to identify someone within the ministry for you to connect with, we are quite happy to initiate those discussions. You know, and that might help in terms of access, in terms of creating some pull for the kind of information that you've already identified. And this might link back to the call for proposals. For example, let's say you have done some research in a very interesting area, and you want to know how to package that for, you know, in terms of a usable knowledge package or a deliverable to you. That is something, again, that we could help out with. Even if you don't get funds, you're still quite welcome to do a fireside chat, and following up and contacting Dot to set something like that up. And, you know, we advertise widely and would be able to draw upon your networks to do that. Now, for the people who do get funding, you automatically become a member of the network. And in getting funding, we are going to hold you to a couple of requirements. So the first is that we would want you to do a fireside chat at some point in your project to talk about challenges or your findings or anything like that. So we would like you to host at least one fireside chat. We would also like you to, we are going to be establishing a working paper series, and we would like you to prepare a working paper that would become on the website, something that we could get out fairly quickly and show that we have again, good productivity for the money that we're spending. It wouldn't be an onerous working paper, so something, again, just report to us, and something that we could include in a newsletter or on the website. So we would want you to have those kinds of things. Also, in becoming a member, we would need to gather some information from you at the time of annual report to say the kinds of research that you're producing out of, or not so much just the research, but the papers and presentations that you are doing out of any OHHRRN funded activities. So we would ask you to help us identify that, and then again to show that to the people who are funding us in the ministry that there's good productivity. So those are some things that we would hope that you would do. So I'd like to open it up for any other questions, either through the text box or just even on the phone line. Please go ahead, ask away.
Quiet. Can we do a sound check? Is everybody there?
Yes. Yes, I'm here. Josephine Etoa. I just want to say thank you. It's very informative, Ivy, to get this information. One of my other questions, just a minute, I'm looking where I wrote it.
Yes, sorry, go ahead.
I wrote, yeah, I can hear you. Just,
She's looking for her question.
Yes.
Okay.
While we're waiting.
We're speaking. Well, anyway, somebody else go. I can't.
Well, I can respond. I think Kathy was asking when our next call for proposals will be. I suspect that we would do one at least at this time next year. We might do something in the fall, but I'm not sure. It really depends on sort of like our feedback from this first round, how many people are applying. Because if people are applying and we're giving them feedback, I'd hate for them to have to wait a year to get another $25,000. So we're still pretty open to trying to in terms of what we do in this regard. I do have a couple of notes from some frequently asked questions that we get from people. We have some questions about whether community partners can apply, such as people in the LINs, people in the colleges, and we said yes. But we would want you to kind of be linked in with an academic-based researcher. So the academic-based researcher does not necessarily have to be the PI. They could be a co-applicant. But that's what we would suggest at this round. Students cannot apply directly, but they can have their supervisor apply. The Ontario-focused nature, do make that clear in the application. And again, but we, part of what we're trying to do is build capacity in Ontario, but projects that address Ontario issues as well. I think I've covered this before, but you would know probably by mid-March or as early as we could get our reviewers together that we would do that. Some people have asked whether or not you can purchase equipment. Well, I think with $10,000 and $25,000, there isn't really much funds for equipment there, and I'm sure that the ministry will probably tell us that we can't either. So, unfortunately, this is not a fund that you can use for equipment. Can you request funds to attend conferences? And I think in this round we're going to say no, but you can apply to host a conference, right? Pulling people together, sort of like a research team meeting. You can do that. As I mentioned earlier, postdoctoral fellows can apply. Junior career scientists definitely can apply. we have the notion about only one application per person as a PI. So you can be a co-I, and you can have more than one investigator on an application.